And that is a bit mind-blowing for me, that people are unable to get to cancer treatment appointments because they didn't always have the necessary funding.
Welcome to Believe in Progress, the American Association for Cancer Research Foundation podcast. Join us and be inspired by the incredible stories of those who have faced cancer with strength and resilience, and the medical professionals who are working tirelessly to find new treatments and ultimately a cure. Believe in Progress isn't just about the science of cancer. It's about the human side of this disease. Together, we can make progress in the fight against cancer and bring hope to those who need it most. On today's episode of Believe in Progress, we welcome two powerful advocates who are turning the pain of loss into purpose and making a tangible difference for lung cancer patients and their families. John Matthews is the founder of Ride Hard, Breathe Easy, a nonprofit that began with a bike ride in honor of his mother and has since raised over $1 million for lung cancer care and awareness. Joining him is Jack Owens, a rising junior at the University of Notre Dame, who is currently riding 3,600 miles across the country to honor his grandmother and support RHBE's mission. Together, their story is one of love, action, and generational change. John and Jack, welcome to Believe in Progress. Really honored to have you both here today.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
So, Jack, tell us where you are today.
I'm joining you from Columbus in Ohio. We just finished up riding for the day and only have 11 more days of riding until we reach the Atlantic Ocean.
That's awesome. That's awesome. John, can you take us back to the beginning and, what inspired Ride Hard, Breathe Easy?
My mother was diagnosed with lung cancer back in 2011. And when she was sick, I promised her I would do something. And I didn't know what it was, but my family and I had learned a lot about lung cancer over the past 9 months from mom's diagnosis, about the lack of funding, about the 5-year survival rate, and many other things that just startled us, including the fact that it's the number one cancer killer in the world and in every state. So when mom was sick, I just said, Mom, I'm going to do something. I didn't know what it would be. And sure enough, 5 years later, I promised, I just said, I'm going to raise a bunch of money, $1 million. And then I said, I'm going to ride my bike across the country. And just like Jack, I really didn't have a bike. But I found a lot of love and a lot of help and support to make that journey. And since then, we've raised that $1 million, and we work with some of the biggest and best cancer centers in the world to deliver the kind of needs that lung cancer patients have after a diagnosis.
That's fantastic. What was the first ride like, logistically and more importantly, emotionally?
Oh, I mean, honestly, I cried every day because it was still fresh for me. Mom had passed away in 2011, but I was deeply inspired by so many people who were a part of it. And so what I mean there is the logistics were, every day you go out and you ride 50, 60, 90, 100 miles, whatever it needs to be. But I always had someone who was nearby. And for those who are in the cycling community, you've heard of a sag wagon. And for that, there's people near us, near me each day during that ride who make sure that I'm healthy, I'm safe, and I'm making my way across the country. And so it was wonderful to get that help. And my mother, who was born on a farm in Ireland, she had a wonderful saying that I grew up around. And that saying was, many hands make light work. And I got to experience it where, dozens of people took their time off. They came out and drove a van for 2, 3, 4, 5 days and made sure that everything was going well. And one of those people out in the great state of Utah was Jack Owens. Jack was there with my brother as well as my brother-in-law, Jack's dad. And he saw what it was like, and he got to experience a different part of the country. And my guess, somewhere really, really deep inside of Jack, he's kind of like, I may want to do something like that. Eventually, he got to that.
And Jack, I'm kind of curious, same question, what's it been like for you emotionally to be on this journey?
Emotionally, it's certainly a lot to go through, much what he just talked about, but knowing that I have the support that I have from so many family members, friends, and all of the communities that I've been grateful enough to be a part of over, my years, it helps a lot. It relieves such a great percentage of that stress, and just knowing that I can lean on them in any way, shape, and form means the world to me.
On this ride, there's a support system, like riding along with you, like a van and that type of a situation.
Yeah, very similar. Another SAG support wagon. We actually shipped our family van out to San Francisco, and there's been small groups of people that have driven it for days at a time. I think we're up to our eighth team now, eighth SAG team, and each and every one of them has provided their own unique touch to make the ride special in their way. And that's one of the big things that's been really special for me to watch, is seeing all these people come together to help me make a difference.
And do people ride along with you?
I had a couple of people day one, and then my Uncle Jack here with me today rode for the first 2 weeks, I believe. We had a couple more people come out after that, and now I'm solo, but soon enough I'll have people with me again. So looking forward to them coming out.
That's great. John, lung cancer carries a lot of stigma and misunderstanding. How did your mom's experience shape your understanding of that?
The first question you're asked when you say lung cancer is, did she smoke? And it bothered me, right? Because mom, first of all, smoked very little. And when she did, it was 30 years. So she hadn't smoked at all in 30 years. And just as remarkably, I've met women at conferences, at lung cancer conferences, who have literally said, my doctor told me I couldn't have lung cancer because I'm an athlete. Or I tell people I have a different kind of disease because I want some level of support. They're afraid there's a sense that there's a shame there. And so we experienced it, not terribly with mom, but just seeing it on the outside, that this was the common refrain. And in the United States, it's the non-smokers' lung cancer. So people who've never smoked is the sixth most common cancer. It's more common than a lot of other cancers. And frankly, in the world today, across the whole world, half of the women, so think about this, over 50% of the women who are diagnosed with lung cancer today have never smoked. And so there's more to it. It's not just the fact that it's a smoker's disease, not only here in the United States, but everywhere in the world.
I ran the Christopher and Dana Reeve Paralysis Foundation. And Dana Reeve was a non-smoker who actually succumbed to lung cancer. And, it's just as one of these, and this person was in great physical shape and, kind of ate all the right things. And so you're right, education is critically important. This started as a tribute. It's now become a true movement. What has surprised both of you, I guess, about how it's grown over the years? John, I'll start with you, then we'll go to Jack.
Right now, we work with 7 of the best cancer centers in the country. In Philadelphia, it's Fox Chase, it's Temple, it's Jefferson, it's Penn. But we also work with Duke, Dartmouth, and Johns Hopkins. So some of the very best. And when we gave our first check to Fox Chase Cancer Center, they said to us, hey, listen, John, no one's ever given money to lung cancer, specifically to lung cancer patients before. And we did the same thing at Temple a couple of months later, our second check, and the people at Temple said the same thing. And frankly, every one of our partners has repeated it. And so here we are with the deadliest cancer in the world, the deadliest cancer in literally every state in this country, for both men and for women. And so what surprises me the most is it's that stigma that prevents that reduces the amount of funding, whether it's on the patient side or whether it's on the research side.
Jack, what has this experience meant to you as when you are actually raising money to be able to present to these world-class cancer centers?
Ever since I've been involved with Ride Her Breathe Easy, my involvement has kind of grown throughout the years. So I think that the changes that I've seen in the organization have been mostly a result of my exposure to it.
Mm-hmm.
And over the more recent years, I've been fortunate enough to read more about the stories that the lung cancer patients actually go through themselves, and see what our partner hospitals have to say. And I think the biggest change and one of the most impactful things I've seen over those years is just how tangibly the money that we raise actually changes their lives in real physical ways. When they tell their stories, it's really unbelievable the amount of people that just say, I have no clue what I would have done had I not gotten this support, because it just doesn't exist elsewhere in a lot of circumstances. It really makes a big impact to me, because I know that my efforts are not going to a wasted cause.
So can both of you give me some examples of what kind of support do patients like need, and what are some of the specific things that the foundation does to support lung cancer patients and their families?
One thing that I've done for Right Heart Breathe Easy is read the partner reports and compile them over the years. And so many of the stories that I read are so similar, where you have a story about a patient who has to pay their utility bills and doesn't have transportation to an appointment and a couple of other problems, and they simply don't have the money to make everything work. And something that Right Heart Breathe Easy is oftentimes able to do is say, you know what, we'll provide the transportation. We'll get an Uber or some other way to get you there. And a lot of the time, these patients come back to the hospitals and say, if I didn't have that option for transportation, I wouldn't have even been able to get to my appointment in the first place. And that is a bit mind-blowing for me, that people are unable to get to cancer treatment appointments because they, didn't always have the necessary funding.
How about you, John?
Yeah, transportation's a big one, and then our job is, we do bike rides and we do a few other fun things. Our job is to bring money in the door, get it in their hands, so they know what they can do to help people who are, sometimes they see bills piling up, and they're able to help figure it out. So it's a wonderful experience to work with them.
Hi, everyone. This is Mitch Stoller, Chief Philanthropic Officer at the AACR and the host of Believe in Progress. I hope you're enjoying today's episode. I wanted to take a quick moment to remind you that your support is vital in our fight against cancer. As we always say at the AACR, cancer research saves lives, but we cannot do that without the generous support of people like you. If you're moved by the stories and insights shared in our podcast, please consider making a donation to AACR by visiting aacr.org. Your contributions help fund essential research and provide support to those affected by cancer. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to the Believe in Progress podcast. By subscribing and sharing with your friends and family, you help us reach more people with these important conversations. Thank you for your support. Now let's get back to the episode. Tell us a little bit about your motivation and how this idea came to you to decide to ride across country.
Well, the idea originated thanks to my uncle, obviously, in 2017.
Right.
So my mom has him to thank for this idea coming into my head.
I'm sure your mom was thrilled with that, right?
Right. But really, it's been, I like to say that when I started getting involved in Right Heart Breathe Easy, it made me want to get even more involved. And over the years, as I got to see how meaningful our impact actually is for these patients, that is really what motivates me, knowing that every cent that we raise can really change a life. And it keeps me going. It makes me know that this time that, like you said, I'm spending a lot of time not only biking, but hours and hours planning logistics and that sort of thing beforehand. But I know that all of that time is going to a great cause, and it means more to those people than it would mean to me. So, that sort of thing keeps me going, along with the support of all those people, all the people I have around me, as I know that our actions together can help in a way that individuals could never do so.
Have you been a cyclist since 2017, or did you ride before then, or have you just started riding?
No. So I came to my mom in last year and brought this idea in front of her, and she said she'd support me and that sort of thing. But the first thing she said after that was that we needed to get a bike for me.
Yes, of course.
So that's what we did. And I've been a biker ever since that moment.
What kind of bike are we riding?
I ride a Cannondale Synapse Carbon RLE.
Nice. It's held up nicely for you?
Oh, it's been awesome so far.
Yeah. So each day of your ride is dedicated to someone impacted by lung cancer. What's that experience been like? And can you cite some examples of some of the people that, have been impacted by what you're doing?
Yeah, this has probably been the most touching part of the planning for me. Day one, I dedicated to my grandmother, and I mean, obviously, she's the inspiration behind everything that I've done. And on the last day, I plan to dedicate to my grandfather, who, though he never battled lung cancer, is probably the biggest example to me of somebody willing to fight for something bigger than themselves, which is what I hope to do as well.
Can you
Um,
explain that a little bit? I'd love to hear more about that.
yeah, I think that when my grandmother passed away from lung cancer, the entire family rallied around trying to do what we can to help in the fight against it, and nobody embodied that spirit more than my grandfather. Between him and Uncle Jack, they've done so much, sacrificing their own time, but really making sure to get others involved. Because, like my grandmother always said, many hands make light work, and together we can do something much more than any single person can do. And I feel like he started what I'm trying to continue doing now, which is getting more people in this fight.
Jack, what have you learned about yourself along this journey?
Yeah, I've always been somebody that really prioritizes and values relationships. And this has been a phenomenal reminder to me that not only is that something that I should continue to do with the rest of my life, but I should be eternally grateful for all of these people that I have around me that are supportive in so many different ways. Not only um, that want to be there to support me, but want to support what I want to do, which in this case is help others. And there's so many amazing people that I've known from the start that have been so helpful, but so many other people have reached out that I had never heard of, never known before, and they've been beyond generous with their time and money and resources and all of that, just hoping to make my mission successful.
Did you ride through Indiana and ride through Notre Dame by chance?
I did. That was just 2 days ago.
And how was that?
It was really special. I mean, obviously going to school there, it's somewhere that I feel really comfortable,
Yes,
but it's also somewhere that I've met so many people that just mean the world to me.
that,
So
that's
that
good.
was really, really cool.
That's really great. Hey, John, I understand that you teach public speaking. I'm just kind of curious how does that tie into your mission with Ride Hard, Breathe Easy?
You end up getting surrounded by great students, and I've admired what several of them are doing in not only in school but post school. But it's the same thing with this bike ride. Like Jack, I experience how the love and the kindness from so many people when I rode cross country. We've done rides every year since, just never. This is the second time we've gone cross country, but there's always been people who have stepped up and said, I'll ride, I'll help out, I'll donate. This is hard. I mean, you watch what Jack's doing, and I deeply admire the person, and even more so than the ride he's doing. But we both grow from it because you get better connections, you better relationships with friends and family and people you've never met.
Jack, what's your goal? How much money are you trying to raise?
The goal is to raise $100,000.
Okay, and how are we doing?
I haven't checked in a couple days. So far, we're short of the halfway goal
Okay,
for now.
and people, I know we'll put this up in the show notes, but people can make donations online on the website. Is that where people can make donations?
Yep. rhb.org. There's a ton of information there, and they can easily find places to donate where over 92% of every dollar donated goes to lung cancer patients.
That's great. And even after the ride, we want people to continue to donate as well, right?
Yep.
That's awesome. What was your training regimen like? Just preparing for this. Were you trying to, do a certain amount of miles on a weekly basis? And did your uncle John help you with your training?
Yeah. My uncle Jack was very helpful in my training, and I kind of ramped up training at the end, mileage wise. But the biggest roadblock that I encountered was that it was just so hard to find consistent long periods of time to bike.
Yeah.
So a lot of my biking would be late at night after I'd come home from work and shower and dinner and some homework and stuff like that. And I wouldn't get on the bike until 1 a.m. And I would go down to a stationary bike and bike from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Wow.
Sometimes 6 days a week, 6 nights straight. And it was tough, but it's just another example of something where I had so many different people giving their input, whether it be my Uncle Jack or other people that he put me in contact with, and then a bunch of my friends at school who did the same thing and were much better cyclists than I'll ever be, sort of thing. And just, so many other people who made sure that I was well prepared.
And when you're out on that bike and it's a lonely road or a big hill you have to climb or the weather's inclement, what's going through your mind? What's motivating you? What's keeping you going?
There's some things that I try to distract myself, because I know that if you think about this, whatever's in front of you too much, then it's going to get difficult to get to the end, sort of thing. But I know that getting to the end is well worth it. And I think about what has gotten me to that point, if I can, especially the people that have helped me get there.
Are you taking a little break after you get back here to New Jersey?
A little bit of a break from biking for sure, because I definitely want to take some time to make sure I spend quality moments with my friends and family that helped me complete the journey. But as soon as I can, I'll be back to work. And I've got a lot to work towards, for whether it be academic or getting ready for my professional career. But I always want to make sure I have enough time to continue working with Ride Hard Breathe Easy and supporting the mission. That means so much to me.
Early in my career, I was chief executive officer of the Livestrong Foundation, the Lance Armstrong Foundation. And so I have a real appreciation for cycling. And I just want to take my hat off to both of you, really respect what you both have done. John, from your perspective back in 2017, taking on an initiative and starting an organization, first of all, is really, you're to be applauded for that. And I think that's fantastic. And more importantly, you've delivered on your promise and you're really helping patients out. And that, I love that. I think that's fantastic. I'm in awe of what you're doing and what your uncle are doing. And, we'll just, we'll promote like heck and, be safe the rest of your journey.
Thank you so much. Your support means the world to me. And I want to thank you for highlighting our story as well.
John Matthews and Jack Owens remind us that advocacy doesn't have to begin in a boardroom or a lab. It can start with a bike ride, a family's promise, or a young person's dedication to a cause. Their work with Ride Hard, Breathe Easy is a powerful reminder that we all have a role to play in the fight against cancer. If you've been inspired by today's conversation, like I have, visit ridehardbreatheeasy.org, ridehardbreatheeasy.org to learn more or get involved or make a donation, more importantly. And also donate to the AACR Foundation to support cancer research at aacr.org. And don't forget, subscribe to Believe in Progress wherever you get your podcasts. John and Jack, thank you for your passion, your advocacy, and for helping so many others breathe easier. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.